Meet Sarah. Same person, same genetics. But two noticeably different versions of herself, separated by just 30 days. One major thing that changed? Her eating patterns. This isn't about restrictive diets or calorie counting. It's about understanding something fascinating. The food on your plate doesn't just give you energy. It actually changes your brain chemistry. You've probably noticed how a heavy lunch makes you sluggish by 2 p.m., or that sugar crash after eating candy. These aren't random. They're chemistry in action. In the next 12 minutes, you'll discover why these patterns happen, and more importantly, what you can do about them. We'll explore how food becomes the building blocks of your thoughts, your mood, and your energy. And don't worry, if some of the science terms sound unfamiliar right now, I'll be breaking them down in detail in future videos, based on studies and research. This is the big picture overview. To understand how food affects how you feel, we need to look at 3 different levels. Layers in how your body processes what you eat. Level 1, macronutrients, the big 3. I'm sure you heard of these: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. But they do way more than just provide calories. Let's say you grab a plain bagel for breakfast. Within 30 minutes, you feel alert and energized. But by mid-morning, you're crashing and reaching for more coffee. Here's what's happening. That bagel breaks down into glucose, basically sugar, really quickly. Your pancreas releases insulin to help your cells absorb it. You get a quick energy boost, but then your blood sugar drops, and boom, you're tired again. Now imagine you had whole grain oatmeal with nuts and berries instead. Same basic food category, carbohydrates, but because it has fiber and protein, it breaks down slowly. Your energy stays steady for hours. This is what scientists mean when they talk about glucose response. We'll go deeper into this in the future, but for now, just know, not all carbs affect you the same way. Now, proteins. When you eat protein, your body breaks it down into smaller building blocks called amino acids. Some of these, and here's where it gets interesting, become the raw materials for brain chemicals. For example, turkey contains an amino acid called tryptophan. We will have a close look into that soon. For now, just remember, amino acids from protein are literally building blocks for the chemicals that control your mood and focus. And fats? They're essential for your brain, which is actually about 60% fat. The type of fat matters. Omega-3s from fish versus trans fats from fried foods create very different effects. Level 2, micronutrients, the helpers. These are vitamins and minerals. They don't give you energy directly, but without them, nothing works right. Ever feel anxious and jittery for no clear reason? You might need more magnesium. It helps your nervous system stay calm. Can't concentrate? Maybe you're low on B vitamins, which help your cells produce energy. Micronutrients are like the oil in your car engine. Your car runs on gasoline. That's your macronutrients. But without oil, the engine seizes up. Without enough vitamins and minerals, your body and brain can't function optimally. This is why someone can eat plenty of food but still feel exhausted. They have enough fuel, but they're missing the nutrients needed to actually use that fuel. We'll find out which foods are especially rich in these crucial nutrients. Level 3, bioactive compounds, the special ingredients. Now this level gets really interesting. These are compounds that aren't strictly essential, but they can have powerful effects. You know how blueberries are called a superfood? It's because of compounds called anthocyanins, or turmeric, with its curcumin. Green tea has catechins. Broccoli has sulforaphane. What matters now is this. These plant compounds can reduce inflammation, protect your brain cells, and even influence which genes in your body are active or inactive. They're bonus upgrades beyond basic nutrition. This is one reason why eating a variety of colorful plants matters. Different colors often mean different beneficial compounds. Red tomatoes have different compounds than green spinach, which are different from purple cabbage. So 3 levels. Macronutrients for energy and building blocks, micronutrients to make everything work, and bioactive compounds for extra protection and optimization. They all work together. All right, here's where food really becomes mind-altering, and I mean that literally. Your brain has billions of cells called neurons, and they need to communicate with each other constantly. but they can't touch. There's a tiny gap between them. So they send chemical messengers across that gap. These messengers are called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are how your brain cells talk to each other. And here's the connection to food. Many of these neurotransmitters are made from the amino acids in the protein you eat. So when you eat a chicken breast or a bowl of beans, you're essentially giving your brain the ingredients it needs to make these messages. Let's look at 4 important ones. I'll give you the overview now, and we'll dive deep into each one in future videos. Serotonin. You've probably heard of this one. It's involved in mood regulation and sleep. People with good serotonin function often report feeling more emotionally balanced and sleeping better. It's made from an amino acid called tryptophan, which you get from foods like turkey, eggs, nuts, and cheese. Interestingly, about 90% of your body's serotonin is actually made in your gut, not your brain, though they do different jobs in different places. Dopamine. This one's your motivation and reward molecule. When dopamine is flowing well, you feel driven to get things done. You can focus. You feel satisfaction when you complete something. It's made from tyrosine, another amino acid found in protein-rich foods. Notice a pattern? Protein isn't just for muscles, it's brain fuel. When dopamine function is suboptimal, which can happen for lots of reasons, including diet, you might notice low motivation, focus problems, or that "I can't get started" feeling. GABA. GABA is short for gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA is your brain's brake pedal. It helps calm down neural activity, your natural anti-anxiety system. Your body makes GABA from another molecule with help from vitamin B6. Certain foods like fermented foods and whole grains may support this process. Some research suggests that people with anxiety may have differences in their GABA function. I'll explore the research on this in a later video. This one's all about memory and learning. It helps you form new memories and concentrate. It's made from choline, which is abundant in eggs, especially the yolks, and fish. Choline is so important for brain development that pregnant women need extra amounts. Low choline intake might contribute to memory issues and concentration difficulties, though many factors influence these experiences. Here's the key takeaway for now. These brain chemicals aren't fixed. They're being made constantly from the foods you eat. The amino acids and nutrients in your meals today are literally becoming your brain chemistry. And while food is just one factor, sleep, stress, exercise, and genetics all play roles too. It's a factor you have direct control over at least 3 times a day. The gut-brain connection. Now here's something that might surprise you. Your gut and your brain are in constant conversation. And I don't just mean you get a stomachache when you're nervous, though that's part of it. You know that gut feeling you get? Or how nervousness gives you butterflies? That's because your gut has its own nervous system, so extensive that scientists sometimes call it your second brain. But it gets even more interesting. Living inside your intestines right now are trillions of bacteria. We're talking about 100 trillion microorganisms. That's more bacterial cells than human cells in your body. Your gut is essentially a garden. Different bacteria are different plants, and just like a garden, what you feed it determines what grows. These bacteria do more than just help digest food. They produce vitamins, train your immune system, and, here's the wild part, they make many of the same neurotransmitters we just talked about. Serotonin, dopamine, GABA. Your gut bacteria help produce these. Your gut and brain are physically connected by a nerve called the vagus nerve, a direct communication line. When things are going well in your gut, your brain gets positive signals. When your gut is unhappy, your brain knows about it. Here's a real-world example. Imagine someone who eats mostly fast food and sugary snacks. Over time, this diet tends to favor certain types of bacteria, ones that actually promote inflammation and can send stress signals to the brain. Some research has found that people experiencing depression or anxiety often have different gut bacteria patterns compared to people who aren't. It's not simple cause and effect. Mental health is complex, but the correlation is significant. Now imagine that same person starts eating more fiber, vegetables, and fermented foods. Within weeks, the bacterial population shifts. Different species start thriving. So what feeds a healthy gut garden? Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi add beneficial bacteria directly, planting good seeds in your garden. Fiber-rich foods like whole grains, beans, onions, and garlic feed your good bacteria, fertilizer for the garden. Colorful plant foods with polyphenols, like berries and green tea, also seem to help beneficial bacteria thrive. The emerging picture is that your gut health and mental state are connected. It's not the only factor. Life stress, sleep, relationships all matter too, but it's a significant one. So let's come back to Sarah and her 30-day transformation. On the left, here's a typical day before. Coffee and a muffin for breakfast, quick energy spike, then crash. Sandwich and chips for lunch, another spike. By 3 p.m., she's exhausted and irritable, reaching for candy. Dinner is often takeout because she has no energy to cook. She's also sleeping poorly and waking up tired. After learning about these connections, she made specific changes. Breakfast: eggs with vegetables or oatmeal with nuts, protein and fiber for stable energy, and amino acids for neurotransmitters. Lunch: added more protein and vegetables, keeping blood sugar steady through the afternoon. Snacks: switched to nuts, fruit, or yogurt, getting probiotics and avoiding sugar crashes. Dinner: started batch cooking simple meals with a protein, lots of vegetables, and whole grains, feeding both herself and her gut bacteria. She also added fermented foods a few times a week, sauerkraut on her eggs, kefir smoothies, kimchi with dinner. Week 1. She noticed more stable energy, fewer crashes. Week 2. Her mood felt more even, less irritability. Week 3. Her sleep improved. Waking up felt easier. Week 4. She had consistent energy throughout the day and felt mentally clearer. Now, Sarah's experience isn't a guarantee that everyone will have identical results. People vary in their starting point, genetics, stress levels, and many other factors. But her experience aligns with what research suggests. Changing your nutrition patterns can influence how you feel, both physically and mentally. Remember our 3 levels? She adjusted her macronutrients, balancing blood sugar and providing amino acids. She increased her micronutrient variety, supporting all those enzymatic processes. She added more bioactive compounds, potentially reducing inflammation and supporting cellular health. And she fed her gut microbiome, improving that gut-brain communication. Throughout this series, I'll be diving deeper into these topics. We'll explore specific neurotransmitters, what serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and acetylcholine actually do, and which foods support each one. We'll break down inflammation, what it is, why it matters, and how food influences it. We'll look at the research on specific foods and compounds, from omega-3s to polyphenols. We'll discuss meal timing, blood sugar management, and energy optimization, and we'll cover how to make all of this work in real life, with your schedule, your preferences, and your individual responses. If you're curious about understanding the real science behind how food affects you, subscribe to follow along. And here's a question for the comments. What's one food or eating pattern you suspect affects your energy or mood? Maybe it's your morning coffee routine, or how you feel after pasta, or anything else you've noticed. Share it below. I'm curious to hear your experiences. The big idea to take away today: food is more than just calories or fuel. It's the raw material your body uses to build neurotransmitters, support your gut bacteria, power your cells, and regulate your mood and energy. You eat multiple times every day. That means you have multiple opportunities every day to influence how you feel. That's pretty powerful when you think about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.